watching Good Morning San Diego.
Well, does the thought of doing algebra give you sweaty palms?
It never even enters my mind. What about the thought of helping your kids do algebra?
See, there you go.
Yeah. Well, coming up next on Good Morning San Diego, we have some advice for parents from a woman who calls herself a teacherpreneur. You don't have to be a math genius to help your kids. We'll show you why coming up. The kids are heading back to school. So today, Lora Kermode is here to share some back-to-school tips for parents, specifically speaking of math and algebra as well, a subject that perhaps some kids don't really like. I didn't like it. I remember that from a long time ago. But you've got some tips for parents to help their kids with their homework.
Yes, definitely. You know, it's so important for students to do their homework and to practice the same day that the skills were taught. And so even if parents don't remember how exactly to do the math, which a lot of them learned it 20 years ago,
Yeah.
so if they don't even know how to actually do the problems, they can still be involved by looking over the students' homework and looking for key areas on that homework.
And that's a very good point that you bring up. If a student learns a particular way to do a problem that day, they need to go home to practice it because it reinforces the concept, right?
Definitely, definitely. It's so important to practice it that day, but also on an ongoing basis throughout school so that they can practice, just like athletes and performers need to practice to succeed, just like students do as well.
So you were a math teacher for a while, an algebra teacher, and now you actually have gotten out of that, but what you're doing is teaching techniques on how to encourage kids to really love math and to learn it.
Exactly, exactly. So with the GEMDAS Algebra successor, the strategies that I developed when I taught in an inner city public high school.
Okay.
And so I got the students who just hated math, they had never been successful at it, and so I taught them with these strategies that I developed to make it easy and fun for them.
Well, tell us about some of these strategies. I'm interested. I wish I'd had a teacher like you when I was in school.
So some of the strategies for the teachers.
Yeah.
With the teachers, I just get them to use colors and visual aids and a lot of kinesthetic movements to help the students really enjoy it and get involved and engaged.
Right, and for the students, I mean, what is it about algebra or math in general? I think that kind of kids automatically have this, I don't know, unless they're just, you know, genius kids, but, you know, a lot of us didn't like it.
Right,
Why don't we like it?
I think just it goes back to people having kind of a fear of numbers, and maybe they just started to not get it at a certain grade, and then they started to believe they couldn't do algebra, but I really believe strongly in that all students can succeed at it, and that the more that they're motivated, they can be very successful.
Yeah, that's a good point, because sometimes if you have that moment in school and there's something that you don't understand and you just go, oh, well, forget it. You know, I'm never going to get this, and you just tune out. But you have ways to keep kids from doing that.
Exactly, exactly. And I have tips for parents, too, to help the students as well. So,
well, let's go through some of those.
Sure.
What do you recommend for parents to do?
So one thing they can do is to always have supplies available for the student, not just at the beginning of the school year, but you know, pencils and paper, but also throughout the school year, so they have plenty of supplies.
Like what kind of supplies?
Like, well, pencils definitely for math. So
erasers.
Yes, well, erasers, but definitely just more than one pencil, because a lot of times students run out of their supplies in class. So lots of pencils, paper, but also having them in a place at home so that students can access them easily when they're doing their homework.
Okay, and a quiet place. It says provide a quiet place, maybe kind of their area where they know when I'm here, I'm focusing on my math. This is what I do here.
Exactly. When there's if you're at home and you have children running around and the TV blaring in the background, it can be hard for students to focus. So it really shows that you care about the students' education and that you're making that a priority by giving them a quiet place.
Okay, and there were 2 more tips on that list as well. Look over their homework and track their assignments. You're saying it's really important for parents to be in tune with what their kids are doing in school.
Definitely, and again, if the parents do not feel comfortable or remember how to solve an equation, you can still be involved by looking over their homework. Make sure it has the full heading, their name on it, that the answers are boxed, that it's neat and legible, and also they can check the answers in the back of the book. A lot of times the odd answers are in the back of the book to help them be involved in looking over the homework.
And I would imagine that it's exciting for you to see when you encourage someone or teach them techniques to do this and to get through the math and to learn it and to actually like it. That has to make you feel good.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing to see students who had never been successful with math to flourish and to succeed, and it's just fantastic.
Well, we appreciate you coming in and sharing those tips with us, and hopefully it will encourage some parents and students to really get after those math assignments.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you
for
so
coming
much.
in.
Thank you for having me.